Hello, welcome back to another episode of Make It a Double Double. Today we have a very special episode for the eagle-eyed viewers that are watching on YouTube at the moment. You will notice that there is no Adam Carter and there's no Azzy Mack. But for the listeners, it won't actually come as a surprise because it'll be written when you see the episode. But I'm joined by two very special guests. The first of which I believe is picking up his hat-trick ball for Make It a Double Double appearances. Everyone's favourite content creator, Mr. Andrew Laird. How are we doing?
Oh, hardly everybody's favorite, but appreciate the hat trick shout. Yeah, I didn't even realize. I mean, I guess I just hadn't thought of it. I feel like because I listen to you guys and we kind of talk separately, it feels like I've been on more. But yeah, I guess third time. Let's go.
And our second extra special guest, I would say, returning for his second time on the pod, is Momo from Sorare. How are we doing?
All good. Thanks a lot, Marc, for having me. 1 year and a half, I think, after the first appearance. Yes, pleasure to
And
be here.
and you are a very happy boy because Inter Milan have reached the Champions League final.
Exactly, exactly. Amazing game.
So I would imagine there are a lot of PSG fans in the office.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's the most liked team in the office, obviously. So it's tense times at the office today.
Well, we'll see how that happens. See who's got the bragging rights after the UCL final at the end of May.
Yeah, exactly. I
Hopefully,
think the Monday after the final will be something special here at the office. I don't plan to come if we lose. I will take some days off.
well, I mean, I'm a neutral fan in this, but just because you're on the pod, I'm going to say I hope Inter Milan win.
And because PSG was the one eliminating Liverpool, so you should be also a little
They did. But with that, you can always say that we lost to the winner.
true. Yeah,
So,
that's
but
true.
yeah,
Do I remember correct? Well, I remember that when Tolga came on to one of my streams, he was wearing an Inter shirt. I can't remember if he's an Inter supporter or just loves the drip, but like I'll
No, no,
remember that
that's
jersey
true.
forever.
That's true. Yeah, no, he has a really nice Inter jersey, and he's actually like a fan of Inter too. Like he doesn't follow every game, but it's the team that he likes. So we're the two Inter fans at the office. That's true.
Yeah, you can take everyone else on.
yeah. So usually on Make It a Double Double, as I'm sure you're all aware, we open up the Sorare saloon, but I forgot to mention drinks. It's work time for Momo. It's technically work time for me. Don't tell my boss. And I don't know what time it is in New York, Laird. But
It's pre-lunch here, so that
okay,
might be
so unfortunately, the Sorare saloon isn't open for brunch where you are. So I've got a green tea, and we'll park it there. I think that's what we're going to do. Before we get into, so the reason why we've asked Momo to come on, we love you, Momo, for starters. You've been on before. You've been very helpful for us with Sorare Sevens. But obviously, Nicholas and Dan did the Sorare AMA last week, which I think the general consensus around the community was that it was pretty well received. From what I've seen, I think it was really useful to hear from the guys. Obviously, not too much was revealed, so to speak, but it was really refreshing to hear the guys talk about some of the potential issues or some of the comments that some of the users have had and some of the sentiment. And it was refreshing to hear that they'd taken some of that on board and there was at least stuff being potentially put in place to mitigate any concerns that any of the user base might have going into the summer and then the next season. I mean, it was that well received that I think I was in the live chat led on your stream with the reactions, and we actually talked more about what was in the office than the actual AMA itself.
Yeah, I think everyone like I kind of said on that stream, I think everybody just wanted to get a feeling like their concerns were being heard. And not to say that it felt like they were being ignored, but when you have Nicholas like clearly addressing, hey, we want to talk about this, or whatever the different aspects were, it was, yeah, it's always like reassuring to hear it. And we weren't expecting any specifics. That's more Momo's job, really, to eventually give us all of that. And so, like, Momo, I assume you're also like really excited about like what's coming, and I can't. I assume you're not going to give us any very specific details. Feel free to share if you do. But does there, I mean, I assume everybody there is kind of excited about what the next season is going to hold, since you guys are going to make some changes that make the game a little different.
No, for sure. Regarding the MMA, it was really important for us and for Nico and the team to have this podcast and to address the community directly, because we know that, like, with the end of the European season, more managers are starting to wonder what will be next season gameplay. Are the issues gonna be addressed, etc.? So it's a completely legit thought. And as you said, guys, it was important for us to show that we're on top of all those subjects, that we're all working really hard over the last few months and weeks toward this goal of delivering the best possible experience for Sorare 26, if we call it like that. So yeah, it was a great opportunity for us to update the community on the directions we're taking, and reassure everyone about the fact that we're aware of the issues, and that we have a lot of exciting stuff we're working on to make this launch successful.
I think it's easy to forget that the 24-25 season was the first full season of the in-season and classic split, and the implementation of that and what that meant for classic cards, and indeed the value and utility of in-season cards, prize pools, all that sort of stuff. From your perspective, or Sorare's perspective, how do you think that went as a whole? Did it exceed expectations? Did it meet expectations? Do you think there's stuff you could have done better to improve that experience?
Well, personally, I think if we talk about like if we see the challenge that we had before uh, doing this pivot in terms of gameplay, I think we largely met the expectations, because we successfully did this huge transformation of the game. As you said, it was like the first year we experimented a lot of new things. This mirroring between in-season and classic, early access cards, etc. So the challenge was really huge. So I think we can be satisfied with how things went for a first year of this iteration, like this new gameplay. But yeah, as I know that Nico touched on this on the AMA, we could have done a few things better and execute them better, so that we know. So maybe if I have to rate the launch, it would be something around 7 or 8, around 10, because we weren't perfect on everything. But we are really happy with what we achieved. And after this first year, I think we're in a very good spot to consolidate, build on it, and reach the 10 out of 10 mark for the new season launch and next season gameplay. So we're really happy about that.
In Dan and Nicholas's AMA, they somewhat broad brushly alluded to potential things such as vaulting that we've seen in MLB,
Yeah, exactly.
potentially being implemented. Um, is there anything you can tell us that we might expect potential vaulting, or maybe hot streaks that have arrived in MLS? Could they be applied to European games going forward? Is there anything like that you can tell us, that, or drop some hints?
Yeah, no, for sure. For sure, as Nicolas said, those are part of the big novelties that we might bring to next season. We know that MLB and the ceiling showed like great signs of like for a feature that can work for people to use their classic card in a different way, whether it is getting instant rewards for it or boosted rewards in season, etc. So MLB helped us get a clear picture on how it could look like on football. And given the success, yes, it's likely that we try to adapt those concepts to football, and that would give extra utility and strategic depth also to the game for next season. So we're not in a position to, of course, like lock things in and make a promise that will be had at 100%, because as a reminder, we should have the big gameplay announcement early June. So that's where we'll announce everything. But yeah, at this stage, yeah, we can definitely confirm that we're seriously considering voting and sealing to be brought to football. Yeah, for sure. And yeah, and also on the other part, we know that beat the game mode will have a big place in next season gameplay. So we want to follow the path that we opened with the MLS. Um, we have, of course, learnings to take from it to make it even better. But that's also, I can confirm that the idea and direction is to bring this dynamic and this like gameplay component to the other leagues and to the whole structure. So how we implement it exactly, that will be revealed later. But for sure, we're bringing something like that to the rest of the competitions.
Seems like they're all like those are pretty big, obviously, like bringing them into football because we don't have that kind of mechanic right now. But how much uh how much time do you think has been spent on classic versus like updates to classic versus updates to in season? Because it seems like the in season model, other than beat the game, seems like it works very well. And I think a lot of people enjoy it. And so I was kind of curious if you guys felt like you had to spend more kind of time and resources on ways to make classic a little different versus like adjusting in season a lot.
No, that's true. I agree with you. The in-season gameplay is quite satisfying as it is. I mean, it's we have a lot of room for improvement and things we already identified and that we will implement for next season, because we really think we can make it even more fun, rewarding, etc. But it's true that solving, if we can say like that, like solving the classic gameplay was maybe a major and tougher challenge to address. So we spent a lot of time on it too. But yeah, I think it's like 50%, because it's the game as a whole that we want to improve, and everything is linked. So we want to have like an exciting utility for classic cards, and at the same time the best possible fantasy experience in season and in classic too. So it was a big challenge to work on both, but we're really happy with the how things are piecing up together, and what the new gameplay will look like.
Yeah, Nicola kind of mentioned, and I feel like but lots of people have mentioned this kind of over the years, that because Sorare as a platform is quite revolutionary in what it's doing, there's no playbook to look to and say, oh, we have this problem, so we should just do this. And so it's not like, I think there are lots of people who think, fixing classic or whatever is a very simple solution, or, that there are simple solutions. And I think people, the more you discuss it, you realize just how complicated it really is. But um, yeah, like the biggest takeaway I think I've gotten from the AMA and really just all of the kind of public communications that you guys have had recently, that that classic can be improved, and it's great to hear that you guys are kind of attacking it. Um, we'll find out what those changes will be, but again, it's just really nice to know that they are being addressed. So thanks for that.
Yeah, no, for sure. No, for sure. As you said, like we're kind of innovating in this category, and after the major transformation we had like last summer, of course we put a lot of thought and efforts into getting things right, but we couldn't like anticipate
Yeah.
everything. So um, that's why we're all really excited about our current position, which is with 1 year experience on this new model, being able to have like a solid V2 and like now deliver something that can be really closer to being the best possible gameplay we can deliver for next season. So
I think that sentiment is shared quite right across the community, isn't it? Really, it'd be great to see an improvement to classic utility generally. I think the initial and Led's quite right. Sorare kind of got to write the rules for themselves in terms of launching and testing these ideas, and not everything will stick. But you know, if you pardon the phrase, if you throw enough shit at a wall, some of it will stick eventually. And it's probably an awful phrase to use, so I'm really sorry for that. But it's what sprung to my mind. And like you say, getting classic right, I think is important. Definitely very difficult to get right. And I think, from my point of view, one thing I would like to see an improvement on is that. Personally, I got a lot of classic cards, so that's why I'd like to see that. One thing I would also like to ask you on, and it relates to classic and U23 category. At the moment, I think, well, when I first joined the platform, there used to be a lot of merit and a lot of benefit in identifying under 23 talent that's yet to break through, that could break through. I feel that now with the classic and in-season utility split, it's almost like by the time these players have broken through, they're always classic, because it's very rare that they actually break through in their first season card, if that makes sense. So they break through, they play regular first team football, and they count as an in-season. So I do kind of understand in a way the decision not to have an in-season U23. However, I do think it would be good. Do you think we might see that on the horizon?
I'm not sure that will be the case. Like I don't really know, honestly. Like I can't really share about that if the solution to what we described is a U23 in season. But what I can say is that it's what you described is something we identified, and that is in on the top of our list among other topics of things to be addressed for next season. That's where we are aiming for. We want, as you said, that the excitement of scouting young players, like finding good players early in their careers, maybe before everyone else, etc. We want need to be an important dimension of the strategy and the game. So we are exploring all the possible solutions to do it. That can be done through competitions, through missions, through marketplace, gameplay elements. So there are a lot of options. But I think there will be something like that included in our gameplay announcement, because that's something we want to address, and we want to bring back this excitement. So we'll do something for sure.
I think some of the discussion about U23, like an in-season option, was more just because right now there's no real benefit to buying an in-season under 23 card if a player has like a classic cards already, because usually the classics are a little cheaper. And I don't know if the desire for in-season U23 is just in order to get more reward possibilities, or it's that just that scouting element is kind of gone. And not that you can't scout now and just buy the classic card option, but it seems like that's not really in Sorare's best interest. Like, I think we all know that buying new cards is probably better. And so it was encouraging to hear Nicola kind of mention that too, that scouting element should return, whatever and however it looks like. It sounds like it's not an in-season competition, but that doesn't mean that there aren't other places where, or other, forms that we have, and we're like, oh, I do want to buy this card for whatever benefit that comes from that.
Yeah, exactly. As you said, it's really a tough one to solve, because even just an in-season competition doesn't do the trick, because it lasts only 1 year. So if you have Yamal in season, you can enjoy it 1 year, but then it's a classic, and it falls under the classic gameplay. So it's not the most straightforward one to solve, but we have many quite good solutions for that that we could consider. So we are continuing the explorations and work about that to find something that enhance this scouting element on the platform. So
speaking of old things that used to be fun, scouting, U23 competitions, all that sort of stuff. Thinking back to old Sorare, this is a question for both you guys actually. Is there any old features in Sorare that you would like to see come back, either permanently or as a special competition or anything like that? I've got one in my head, but I'm interested to hear what yours are.
Personally, I think I would go with as Nicola framed it, thresholds, but not in the form that they were originally built. But I really like hot streaks, and actually I didn't plan to play MLS this season, simply because I don't know the league well enough, and I really love to see my players play, and I can't wake up on a Saturday night at 4 a.m. to watch them. So I didn't plan to play MLS this season at all, and I ended up getting my teams because of hot streaks and the excitement of this new feature, and the kind of threshold system. So I'm really happy that we're considering it, bring it to make it a more general part of the gameplay for the other competitions too. But I'm really excited about having this beat the game mode taking an important dimension in the game again, as it used to be at one point.
Did you expect the amount of teams who managed to qualify for the MLS Masters that has recently been? Did you expect that number of entries? Did you expect more? Did you expect less? Was it harder to gain entry than what you envisaged?
Honestly, we knew when we launched that it was really hard to estimate the number of managers that will be able to get their badge. But our position was that it kind of doesn't matter, because what we wanted to do is have an exclusive competition that's super exciting for people to qualify for. And we knew that with the prize pool we committed to and the difficulty to get there, it would be the case. It would be the case for sure. So if it's less, and that those people fight for an incredible prize pool, that was also the promise, the initial promise when we created this competition, is that you know what it takes to qualify. It's you against the game and nothing else. And if you get there, the prize pool is amazing. And whether it's across like 300 people in limited, for example, or 1,000, we knew that it was going to be really rewarding anyway, and that was the goal. So, but of course, it was like a first iteration, and if we want to do that again, maybe we can adapt, whether it is the qualifying rules or the prize pool, because we want it to be like something enjoyable for like we want to reach like the sweet spot between exclusivity and a rewarding experience for sure. But I think it was a good first iteration on that.
As somebody who has failed to get beyond 2 multiple times, I absolutely hate this competition. I think you should. No, I'm just kidding. No, I mean, I think I just keep making up my own reasons of why I should be able to continue, but I keep coming up short. So that's why I think it's a great competition. Genuinely, I think last game week all three of my entries would have should have gotten, what was it? I think oh no, I'm sorry. I got pushed back to the start, and then to get to step one, all three of my entries hit the threshold. And I was like, I should just go to step three because I got all three of them. But that's just me trying to make up the rules to benefit myself. But no, I think genuinely it's been a great comp.
Do you think it's better suited to MLS than any other league, just because of the fact that teams are more unpredictable in MLS? If it was introduced to, say, the Bundesliga and someone ran a Bayern stack, the chance of that Bayern stack winning 5 games in a row and those players scoring highly 5 games in a row. Same with PSG in Ligue 1, who have absolutely smashed nearly every team they've played in the division this season. Do you think the hot streaks is more suited to MLS than the European leagues?
No, it's true that it's like completely different leagues. Like in the MLS, the matchups are so like balanced, so it's tougher to like get on a streak and be consistent across several game weeks for sure. So yeah, that's also a question. Like if we need to adapt the hot streaks to other competitions, we'll also have to make things right and calibrate everything in the proper way. But yeah, I think that we may consider uh, this kind of exclusive competitions for next season. That's something I think Nico also mentioned it a bit in the AMA, but yeah, that's also something that we are considering. Like we know that those kind of exclusive competitions that you can qualify for, like a bit of a different gameplay, different format, are really nice. Maybe it won't be through the hot streaks like it was the case with the MLS, but we can definitely also improve this experience and expand on this type of competitions.
I'm going to answer Marc's question and then ask my own. But Threshold was obviously great and had clearly that's part of the plan. The comp that I miss the most is Rare Pro, and being able to use kind of a scarcity multiplier with my super rares in certain competitions. Momo, I know super rare is not easy, and it feels like it basically it doesn't feel like basically everything that comes out now, or almost everything, feels like it's specifically for limited and rare. And while I'm sure there's a ton of work that's been going into figuring out how classic can get better, should we expect any changes kind of with super rare? Because it does feel like super rare is just it feels like the scarcities are now all very different in terms of gameplay. Limited and rare tends to be kind of coupled together with certain announcements. I know we have more of the special edition cards with limited, and you guys have some more freedom of what you can do because there are obviously way more cards that you can play around with. But should we expect kind of big changes with super rare at all?
As you said, yeah, it's exactly what you said. I think we can almost say that it's two different games. Maybe I'm going a bit too far, but you're right. Like it's different gameplays across car cities, especially between like limited rare and super rare and unique. So they have their own dynamics, their own also like managers who play these car cities. So we definitely have them in mind, and they are not left behind at all. Like we have identified like some issues there that we want to address. I mean, we're in close contact with the super rare managers, for example, in order to try to find the good solutions and improvements. Um, that said, yes, there are things that we could consider for next season to improve the dynamic. We now have the whole missions, beat the game mode can help. We had the first iteration with the golden goal in the MLS. We were not specially convinced that it was the best way to do it now that we see the feedback, etc. So we could have something similar or adapted improved, but have some kind of beat the game experience alongside the prize pool for those scarcities too. Try to balance the prize pools in the best possible way, etc. But yeah, for sure we have those scarcities in mind, and we have things for them in store too. We also are considering like some marketplace specific initiatives for those scarcities, because it's also a completely different behavior to buy cards in those scarcities. So I can't share much. I'm sorry about all those things and can't commit, but we're aware about the concerns, working closely with the research team and getting feedback from those managers, and we'll try to make things right next season, whether it is like the working on the prize pools, the missions, the marketplace, etc.
Cool.
Yeah, I think generally, I think I personally I don't play super rare. I have one super rare card which I bought after 5 beers when I when you launched the MLS, and I FOMO'd into the MLS season, and I'd had a few beers, and I thought no one's bid on this super rare card. He's a brand new signing for LAFC coming from Ukraine, and I'll put a bid in and won it. So he's just sat in my gallery, but he scored a goal this season, so he's I'm waiting for him to rocket, so no one can still buy him off me. But no, genuinely appreciate that. Momo, we've been in contact plenty of times over various social events, actually, for the community. You've been very kind in helping us with Sorare Sevens, with prizes, with signed shirts, match tickets, all that sort of stuff. I know you guys have been doing the watch-alongs recently in various European cities, which unfortunately I wasn't able to go to the London one because it's right in the middle of the Easter holidays here, and childcare was a bit of an issue, but I would have gone otherwise. Would have been even more tempting if it wasn't an Arsenal match you guys were watching and it was a Liverpool match. But is there any plans to expand on those social get-togethers, the watch-alongs? Because I think generally, I mean, obviously, myself, Adam, and Aaron do Sorare Sevens, and we went to the Paris event last summer, and they're very well received and very well liked in the community. So it'd be good to see more of them, to be honest.
No, for sure. Like I think we're really lucky as a company and a game and product to have like such an engaged community. Like when we see all the community initiatives, all the bounds that are created by people from the community, etc. We know that people who play Sorare are kind of linked to the game, and they create like real life bounds. So it's really something that we want to continue developing and holding these kind of events. I think we've had like maybe 6 or 7 watch parties this semester. For sure, we'll double down on those and make as many as we can next season. We are also thinking, and Marc, you're involved in those discussions, in having like some kind of real life football tournament in Paris, as we did, as you organized with Nacho and Dennis, other guys from the community here in Paris. So we are looking into doing a new edition of this one, maybe this summer. And I think also to echo what Nico said in the AMA when he was mentioning the Sorare side projects that we want to support, it's I think also the same way with these kind of initiatives. We will definitely try to hold some by our own, but we're also super willing to support and help managers who want to take on organizing this kind of stuff. And you're also a good example, because with Sora Sevens, like you did everything and created an amazing community event that we were super happy to support. So we also encourage managers who would like to organize these kind of things to do it and reach out to us, because we have a lot who actually do it, and we're always really happy to support, to have as many as Sorare events as possible. But that's for sure something that's really important for us and that we want to encourage.
Have these like social events given you guys kind of a different kind of view of like what or like who Sorare users really are? Like I'm guessing Paul probably has the research on it, but I'm curious both like if there is kind of a stereotypical Sorare user, and then kind of piggybacking off on that, like who are the types of people that you guys are targeting to try to get to join Sorare?
No, it's true that it's actually for having like organized some of the Paris watch parties. It was kind of surprising, not surprising, but I mean, seeing all the people that attended those in Paris, you had so much different type of people. Like it's crazy. Like from the 50-year-old father football fan to like the young football fan 20 playing Sorare, and like a lot of so many different type of uh, type of people. So that's also comfort us in saying that like the users we are targeting and the market we have in front of us is also huge, because I think it's basically football fans that discover the product, that can like fantasy, and that get so much pleasure playing Sorare. But it was really so much different people there each time. So it's nice to see so many people reunited together like that.
Yeah, I think from the people that have attended Sorare Sevens, the demographic is pretty wide. You know,
Mhm.
varying ages, not so much
Yeah.
gender, but varying ages. You know, varying backgrounds, varying knowledges of football. You know, and one thing, and it's part of the reason why we were encouraged to carry on doing Sorare Sevens, was that the vast amount of people that attended, certainly the first one, attended on their own. There was very few, couples or three people turning up together. The vast majority of people attended on their own because they didn't know anyone in their real life, so to speak, that played Sorare. So that's why we found it really important to sort of bring that community together and then carry on doing the events. And some of the guys that turned up on their own for the first Sorare Sevens turned up in groups, in carpools of people for the second event that they met at the first event. And I know one guy from Manchester, he won the experience flying with, I can't remember which team it was now, AC Milan,
Yeah.
to their
Yeah.
Champions League game. He won that experience, and he took one of the lads that he met at Sorare Sevens with them because they kept that relationship, and he invited him and took him with him to the event. So, unfortunately, we're not going to do a Sorare Sevens this year. That's because I don't have the time this year. If anyone else wants to take it on, please let me know, because you can. But we will do them in the future. And as you say, I'm involved in helping Dennis and Nacho do the hopefully do the Paris one in September. Date to be confirmed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really appreciate you coming on, Momo. I know you've got to duck very soon because you've got another important meeting.
Can I ask one more? Sorry.
Yeah, of course you can.
For
It
sure.
popped into my head. So you said you guys are hoping to announce all of the changes early June. We have the Club World Cup this summer, which is basically mid-June to mid-July. Do you anticipate that tournament is the last use of our in-season cards, or do you think the early access cards come like for next season come before that? Like, I think obviously last year was the first year of early access cards, and I wasn't sure if you guys were looking into pushing the date ahead where we could get those, or if you were happy with what you guys how you guys did them last year.
No, I think there might be like some slight adjustment to the schedule, but not to that extent. I mean, next season cards should be available ahead of the beginning of each league's season, but the first time they should be playable would be the beginning of the leagues. We don't plan. I mean, if your question was if we consider to launch early access cards even before Club World Cup and having them use there, I can already confirm you that's not the case.
Cool. That's exactly what I was looking for.
And to me, early June is before the 15th of June. So we look forward to those announcements.
Yeah, that would be the goal, indeed. I think, we want to have it's a good schedule because like European football ends end of May. We have the Club World Cup mid June, so those first 2 weeks of June are the perfect window to get this gameplay announcement, and we want to give the notice, the 6 to 8 weeks notice that we committed to, so that people can plan their strategy, even if, as always, as we did last year, like some of the info will be disclosed closer to the European launch. But I mean the big pillars of the gameplay will be revealed early June. Yeah.
You got to give yourself time to recover after celebrating winning the Champions League, though, haven't you? Because that's what's
Exactly.
last weekend.
Exactly.
Really, is it?
Yeah, it's the 31, I think,
yeah.
31st of May. Yeah. So yeah,
give yourself a couple of days to recover from that,
yeah.
and then we'll get the announcement.
If we lose, that could really influence how we communicate this change. Like you want to, there might be some delays, bad quality blog. That would be because of Inter loss.
Yeah, well, it's a lose-lose because you're either celebrating and the other guys
And
are
everyone else
too
is,
pissed off to do anything.
Exactly.
Oh, perfect.
What's your prediction for the game if you had to make a bold call?
I'm going to say Inter. They were quite lucky against Barcelona with the last minute sort of equaliser at the end of normal time. What's the centre back called? Remind me. Acerbi. Yeah.
Acerbi.
I remember being pissed off because I've got his card and I didn't include him in the lineup. But I think generally the resilience you showed against Barcelona, I know you conceded a lot, but they are a bit of a force to be reckoned with. I think kind of seen that. They kind of play hectic football, don't they? It reminds me of a little bit when Klopp first joined Liverpool. It was like, we'll score more than you. That's our approach to things. PSG are a bit of a different beast because they're much more resilient at the back. They're much more tight at the back. And some of their attacking play is just as good as Barcelona's, I would say. But I don't know. It's a very difficult one. It'd be close call, but I think if I was a betting man, I'd put my money on Inter.
You just say that because I'm here.
I also don't like PSG.
I just feel like with some of these finals, because I don't think, I mean, Inter were not. I don't think many people expected Inter to get this far. They're very, very good, but I think when you looked at all of the teams, I think this is a bit of a surprise. And I can't remember the last time one of those surprise teams made the final and then actually won it. I feel like all the the years that like Dortmund make it or Atletico Madrid, like in the end they all just usually come up short. So I'll be the bad guy and pick PSG.
Okay,
Remind me, have Inter won it before?
for sure, 3 times,
Of
like
course, yeah.
60, 64, 65, I think, or 65, 66, like 2 in a row back then, and 2010 with Mourinho, the treble,
Oh, of course, yeah, yeah.
and this final 2 years ago. That would be super tough to lose 2 finals out of 3 editions, though. But yeah, we can also see it the other way around with the Inter being the experienced team there. With I think more than half of the team played the final 2 years ago. The final 2 years ago,
That's
and
fair.
PSG never won it. They also have this like kind of trauma of losing against Bayern 5 years ago. And I think yeah, we're like really really solid as a team, and with Inzaghi being a magician as a tactician, like I'm kind of confident, to be honest. I mean, we're not here by luck,
Mm-hmm.
by no means, because like winning against like Bayern and Barca on 2 leg games, like you have to be super strong to do these kind of performances. But yeah, like it's a final, so I think just the fact that it's a final means it's 50-50, and the two
Yeah.
teams are really good, so that would be a tough one, super tough one.
I can't imagine there are many teams that have beaten Bayern and Barcelona over 2 legs in a single tournament before.
Yeah, I know it's true that both teams had like really difficult matchups across the different rounds, so they both deserve it. There's not one who, like, sometimes you have a team that's super lucky and ends up in the final. Even us in 2023, it was, I think, if I'm not mistaken, it was against Porto, Benfica, and AC Milan, and we ended up in the final. So it's less of big matchups on the way, but whether it's PSG or Inter this time, it's maybe the two best team who are facing each other. So it's a cool matchup.
Well, Liverpool have beaten both Bayern and Barcelona on the route to a final, and this is testing my Liverpool knowledge, but I think it was in 2019 when we won it.
That would be a good
So
sign.
could be a good sign. Someone in the comments to this YouTube video is gonna prove me wrong, and I'm actually gonna search it afterwards. But we definitely beat Bayern and Barca recently en route to a final, and I think it was the same year. So it could be a good omen.
Yeah, but then they
Hope
only had to
so.
beat Spurs.
Yeah, that's true. when you mention clubs that are unexpectedly in the final and coming up short, that's the first thing that came to my mind. And it was probably the worst Champions League final I've ever seen.
They're usually not that great. Like they just get, because it's one game, everybody takes it. They get super tense, and yeah, from like a actual football standpoint, they're usually kind of ugly.
Yeah, and probably the only entertaining one is one that I'm trying to block out from my mind, and that's when Real beat us 3-1 in the final,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Karius's 2 errors and Gareth Bale's overhead kick.
Yeah, that was a crazy one.
But I blocked that out from my mind. I didn't actually get to watch it live because it was one of my best friend's wedding on the same night, and we all had a pact at the wedding because there was a few Liverpool fans that we wasn't going to watch the final, and we was going to turn our phones off. We wasn't going to watch the final. We was going to do the wedding, do the evening do, and then we was going to go back to someone's house afterwards and all watch it together. And yeah, some Man United fan ran into the room and shouted that we lost 3-1. So never forgave him. Bloke's a prick.
Terrible.
Well, conscious that you got to go, Momo, because Sorare are making you work overtime. 6 p.m. your end, and you got a meeting.
Yeah, well, we have to prepare the next season.
I hope you're on time and a half, mate. I hope you're on time and a half. thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much, Momo, for joining us, and Laird, hat-trick ball on its way to you.
Let's go. Love it. Yeah, Momo, good talking to you.
Do you want it signed?
Thank you guys. Thank you guys. It was great. See you soon. Hopefully we do another one in the coming weeks or months. Maybe in June to debrief the new gameplay once we deliver. Once we announce everything, we could do one of those. But
Sounds
thanks,
good.
guys.
See, I've dangled a hat-trick ball in front of Laird's eyes, and Momo wants to come in.
You want one too?
That's what I want. Yeah, I'm jealous.
I'll sign it for you, mate, so it goes up in value. The bad thing is Adam will
I
sign
love
it,
that.
so it'll go down in value.
Oh, well.
Cheers, guys. Thanks very much.
Thanks, Marc.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.